real business owners.
Welcome back to the Real Business Owners Podcast. This is episode 87 with Trevor Cowley and Kelt Goodman as usual.
What's up?
Guys, today we want to talk about a topic that I think will benefit you for many years. It's something that's going to take a little bit of time to build, but it's something that I think every business should be focused on at this point, and that's personal branding, right? Building a brand for yourself as an individual behind the business, right? You know, a lot of people want to build brands, and when they say that, they're talking about building their company into a brand. Unfortunately, you know, in this day and age, people want to do business with people that they know, like, and trust, right? Rather than just a corporation or a business, right? So if you know somebody in the car industry, you probably go to them to buy a car. You don't care where they work. You just trust that individual. You know, a real estate agent, if it's a friend or family member that you know, like, and trust, you choose that individual. So again, outside of friends and family that know who you are, you need to make sure that other people that aren't in your immediate ecosystem also know who you are so that you can become an authority in your industry, right? And how you do that is through content, through information, bringing value to their lives.
And standing out too.
Yes, standing out. And I think you can stand out by building a personal brand. That's part of it, right? You know, you think of Tesla, you think of Elon Musk, or Amazon, you think of Jeff Bezos. You know, nowadays companies are tied to an individual more so than just individuals hiding behind a brand or a logo, and trying to operate the business. I bet you there's many just Elon fans. They didn't care what type of car he built. They're a fan of him. They know they feel like they know him, like him, and trust him, and they support him. So by default, they buy Tesla, right, or whatever it may be. And so
I bought a Tesla, and I don't even like it. It's ugly.
It's a badass car though. On the inside, the inside's nice. You know,
I haven't got it yet, but I didn't even know they could drive themselves like 100% like that. So once I knew that, I was like, dude, I could work while my car takes me to Salt Lake City.
You already do that anyways, and it's far more dangerous.
Yeah, I know. It's way more dangerous. Yeah. So I told my wife, I'm like, straight up for safety.
Yeah.
And for production, like, I'm buying that Tesla. Yeah. And she's like, do it. I'm like,
it's going to be my chauffeur while I'm getting shit done.
When I showed her one I got, she's like, you got that one? I was like, yeah. It's the best tax write-off. It's ugly as shit.
It was expensive. So I was like, what's the most expensive one I can buy? That's a write-off. Let's get it.
Well, like, look how ugly Elon Musk's Cybertruck is, but people fucking love it.
People love it.
It's so different, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So he's not only built his own personal brand, but he continues to, like, build things that stand out, are different, and it works for him. And I even picture, like, an old school car salesman, right? Like, they've been doing this for years, right? People could go down and buy from Honda and the big Ford dealerships, but there was always that guy crushing it in the area with the used cars. He had the billboards, you know, maybe the Texas Longhorn out on the front of his old Cadillac and shit. Like, he'd wear the flashy shit. Yeah. Like, that guy was building his personal brand. Yeah. Everyone in the community got to know, and they would come buy cars from him, right? Yeah. And, like, it's been going on for a long time. People just aren't willing to put themselves out there and overcome their insecurities in order to build their personal brand.
Yeah. Well, look at, for instance, that Billie Jean.
Yeah.
He's
a master at it.
Billie Jean is marketing. Yeah. Right? And so he tied his business, what he does, and his personal name together. And then you've got the Clever Investor, right? He created this alter ego, right? Clever Investor, which is Cody Spurbert. But again, everybody knows that the Clever Investor is him. Yeah. Everybody knows Billie Jean is marketing is Billie Jean. Everybody knows Tesla is Elon, right? And so I was getting interviewed yesterday, and somebody said, what's the best thing a real estate agent can do, you know, to help, you know, grow their business? And I said, grow their personal brand. You know, if somebody's spending $5,000 a month in marketing for their business to try to grow their business, that's $60,000 a year. Now imagine spending that same 60 grand building your personal brand and getting followers, getting people to, again, know you, like you, and trust you So they've already kind of made a decision prior to even reaching out that they want to do business with you.
Right.
It's the least path of resistance for them. You're top of mind because your content's in front of them all the time. And we can use real business owners as an example. We own several different businesses. You guys already know we own Easier Accounting. So if you think of Easier Accounting, you probably think of Trevor and Kel, because we've built a personal brand called Real Business Owners, right? And so that brand by itself has been a huge, huge benefit to Easier Accounting. We have people reaching out to us on a daily to say, hey, I need to set up an entity, or hey, I'm sick of my accountant, I need a new bookkeeper, or hey, do you guys do this? Can I get some tax planning done? And so at one point we were spending about $15,000 a month at our peak in marketing for Easier Accounting. And we were spending money, for instance, we were paying influencers to talk about us on stage. At one point, a couple of years ago, we paid Stuman at the $1 Million Mastermind that 10 grand to talk about Easier Accounting on stage. And that's really where it hit me in the audience, is just like, we need to really just double down on our own brand. And why pay influencers to talk about your business when you could spend that exact same money building your own personal brand, and you can influence people to work with you rather than always having to pay somebody else just to talk about your business.
Yeah.
And so that's what we decided to do, is we started to take the money that we would have normally spent on advertising and spent to grow a following and build a following on social media so that we could become our own influence, or our own influencers, right?
I think it is still a good strategy to get other influencers to talk about you as well, because it's one thing to hear, oh, Trevor's the best at this, but to hear someone else say, oh, dude, Trevor's the best at this, there's a lot of power in that still, right?
True.
But now, because we've taken that approach of like, hey, putting our focus and our attention into like building up real business owners and giving value, Stuman continues to hear that we're bringing value to people in his audience. People go back to Stuman and say, dude, I hired him, they did a great job. Now he talks about us for free. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, we paid to become part of his ecosystem, right? And it's honestly been a good strategy in helping build our personal brand as well.
Yeah, exactly.
But now it's like, we're just a part of his network, right? And he's a part of ours, and we talk highly of each other.
Yeah.
And so, it kind of comes full circle a little bit. It's still a good strategy to go out as a part of building your personal brand, to work with other influencers and become a part and bring value to their ecosystem as well.
But
or their network. But,
how much easier is it to get an influencer to talk about you or your business if you are also have some sort of influence? Right. And so in some cases, maybe you do have to pay to kind of buy your way in, right, so to speak, and have people talk about you, get some attention on you. But you should also be focused on building that attention yourself, even outside of other individuals, right?
100%.
We didn't know what we were doing going into it, but we figured it out. You figure it out. You can go back to, I think it's episode 3, where we talked about the strategies that we're using in order to grow real business owners. And it's like 25 or 30 minutes. It's laid out step by step on everything that we do in order to build our personal brand. So we're giving the game to you guys really for free at zero cost, right? You guys are just listening in, and we're trying to bring value to your life so that at one point when you get frustrated with your accountant or your CPA, or you need an accountant or CPA, who's going to be top of mind?
Right.
We're going to be top of mind. You're going to want to be in our ecosystem and do business with us because you know us, like us, and trust us. That's really what it comes down to. And so we now don't spend $15,000 a month. We have zero marketing budget at this point for Easier Accounting, because we still onboard just as many clients as we ever have through the podcast and through social media, right? And so, yes, in the beginning, you're spending money and you're not going to see that big of a return. But the idea is this is a long-term play. Imagine in 3, 4, 5 years, you can keep spending that $5,000 a month. And in 5 years, you've spent $60,000 per year. You've just spent, what is that? $300,000 in advertising expense because you're always chasing that immediate customer rather than trying to chase a follow, right? Getting a follow means you're getting eyeballs for many, many years. Yep. You might not do business with that individual in the first 6 months or the first year, but maybe on year 2, they need your services and they ultimately reach out to you based upon the fact that you've brought value to them, right? And so it's super, super important because let's say you spent 60 grand a year for the first even 2 years. That's 120 grand. What if you now have 100,000 followers in your local area if you're a real estate agent, right? And your area is only 300,000 or 400,000 population. You now have 25% of the market following you, right? And at that point, you now have the eyeballs to just remarket to them through your content and giving them value. And then now you're pulling business at zero cost. You could shut off your marketing expense if you want. But if you're always paying for a new client, you're always going to have to pay for a new client. You know, eventually some maybe referrals and things like that will kick in 5 years, 10 years when you have a large enough client base, right? Or customer base to where you can start asking for referrals. But again, the eyeballs on your business, you could do that same thing. Hey, send me a referral and I'll send you a $100 gift card. You could do that to your audience if you really wanted to and have an incentivized referral program with them and help line their pockets with money just by saying, hey, you guys should work with Easier Accounting or you should work with this real estate agent or this insurance broker or this mortgage guy. And if you guys are not focused on personal branding, what I want you to really focus on right now is the individuals that you value or the individuals that bring value into your life. Do they have a personal brand? Does Andy Frisella have a personal brand? Without a doubt.
Absolutely.
What does Ed Milet? Without a doubt. Does Tony Robbins? Without a doubt. You know, anybody anymore in this day and age, they're going to have a personal brand that puts them on a pedestal that allows them to ultimately attract clients or customers. And if you're not doing that in 2021, you're being very short-sighted, right? You're short-sighting your business because you're just thinking about today. When we went into this personal branding thing with real business owners, we talked about 3 to 5 years. Let's not necessarily look at it and try to evaluate whether it's really benefiting us or our business in the first 6 months or the first 12 months. Just like in business, you're not going to go into business in the first 6 or 12 months, say this business isn't working, I'm done, right? It takes time to grow a business, just as it will take time to grow a personal brand. Right. You've got to understand those are very similar concepts. A personal brand is almost like a business, and it's going to take time to get the attention. It's going to take time to get attention on your business. It's going to take 3 to 5 years to get your name out there where people kind of know what you're doing and you've survived the startup phase, because even when we started Easier Accounting, you know, people thought it was a joke, right? They probably didn't take it too serious. And then, you know, they're watching from afar, seeing if we slip and fall or if we just don't make it. And then now 5-6 years into the company, you know, we now have a lot of people that we know personally in our local area reaching out. Hey, love your guys' content. I'd love to link up with you. Hey, I want you guys to do my tax returns. And so it's taken a while for them to ultimately realize that this business is something that we take very, very seriously and ultimately get to the point where they trust us to start doing business with us. And it takes time to build that trust, right?
I would say that that putting some focus here first, and obviously we took a long route to this. You know, we were always hustlers, grinders, making sales, building companies, and we've done multiple things, and we've you know, succeeded and we've failed and we've done all the stuff. But putting some focus on building your personal brand and putting content out there is really, in hindsight, like a shortcut to building your network, right? Because, I mean, let's be real. We've built our company off networking.
Yep.
And when we started building real business owners, it's given us a lot more power to continue to expand on our network.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, man, like, people want to work for us.
Yeah.
People that work for you are a part of your network. You know, people want to do web development for us that are part of our network, like because of our brand, right?
Yep.
People want to be around you the right people want to be around you, and you've expanded your network, and then people want to do business with you. They want to hire you. So it's really kind of a shortcut, but I agree, man. You got to have going into it thick skin. You are going to get hate.
Oh, yeah.
You've got to have, some willingness to just get through it and put it out anyway, even if you're not 100% confident in that video or that blog that you wrote or the email that you're getting ready to send out to your following. Like, and you're going to figure out as you go, like all the different ways that you can continue to add buckets to your people. Like some people are going to want to read long content from you. Some people are going to want to watch longer videos or short content. They're going to want to be on your email list, but they're going to open that email because it's from you and they follow you and they found you on whatever it is, social platform that you've put your focus. But some of those people are going to want to come work for you. And some of those people are going to want to buy your product or buy your service. And in all reality, man, that's really the power of it. It really is creating a shortcut to building your network.
It just makes you look. It makes you look really good when you have a following. We can now start reaching out to people that maybe were untouchable before or wouldn't give us the time of day, and we could reach out to them from a real business owner's account. And then when they read the message and they check us out, they say, okay, these guys are the real deal, right?
Yeah, it brings value to them.
But let's say, for instance, we were the real deal prior to having that account, and we message them from our personal accounts or whatever it is. It just looks like another person with 1,000 or 2,000 followers, and they get a million messages like that on a day-to-day basis that want to collab or do business with each other. Or, hey, can I pick your brain? Or, all the things that people say in direct messages. But again, we're now able to start getting in contact with people that we can do bigger and bigger business with because we've proved that we can bring value to a lot of people because a lot of people are choosing to follow our content.
Right.
And they're going to say, well, I want to do business with these guys because maybe they can get some attention on my business as well.
Yeah.
Right? People reach out to us all the time to try to be on our podcast now. When, a year ago, nobody was really
who can we get on our podcast next?
Yeah, exactly.
Now it's like, who should we pick to be on our podcast?
Now I'm ignoring, tons of emails of, hey, so-and-so, company wants to be on your podcast. He's built this or done this or whatever, right? And I look at them, and one of the first things that I do, I look at their social media.
Yeah.
And I see how good they've done with their personal branding.
Right.
Like, that's one thing that we're starting to take pretty seriously this year is we want people on the podcast that are taking that seriously as well, because if we're going to give them your guys' attention, they better give us their people's attention, and that's what you're doing is you're trading attention at that point and growing each other's following, right?
Yeah.
Or audience, so to speak. And now that we have this platform to do it, we can reach out to people and get bigger power names on our podcast. They're going to want us on their podcast. And if we didn't have that type of a following or social proof, so to speak, then it would have been much more difficult to make some of those things happen. Yeah. We're able to close deals with different lead sources and referral partners based upon the audience and attention that we have. Love what you guys are doing. I want to do business with you guys. But if we never would have had that out there, they could have their own preconceived notion. It was like, oh, these guys probably, they run businesses, but they're not doing big business or whatever. Again, people have their bias and they project their bias on other people.
Yeah.
But the audience is the audience that's giving us social proof. And so if you guys don't have social proof, it's going to be much more difficult to earn business because right when you start trying to operate with each other or do business with each other, if let's say, for instance, I'm trying to do business with you, and I have 300 followers, I just have a normal account, whatever, 500 or 1,000 followers on Instagram. It just looks like a regular person. So what now has to happen at the very beginning of that conversation, they need to determine whether they know you, like you, and trust you.
Yeah.
So what do? They sit down through your presentation, and they're like, okay, that all sounds good. Now they're going to want to do a bunch of research about you, and they're going to shop it around a little bit more and talk to 2, 3, 4 of your competitors to try to make a decision on which individual that they want to work with.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you don't have to do the whole know you, like you, and trust you because you already have a personal brand and you're already delivering to them, you've already passed that point where it's just a matter of, let's just have a conversation. I'll give you the details. And at that point, they'll probably just move forward without really shopping it completely because, again, they've already chosen you prior to even reaching out.
Yep.
Right? They already know that they want to do business with you based upon your personal brand.
Yep.
But if 5 people are getting quoted and one individual has a personal brand that's large and the other 4 don't, I would say that one with a large audience and a good personal brand has a much higher probability of success of landing that customer. Yep. That's just the truth, because people want to be around high power players. There's something magical about it. We surround ourselves with high power players. Now people want to surround themselves with us because we're high power players, right? And so you want people to be in your ecosystem or even want to be in your ecosystem. We get messages all the time. Oh, I know one day I'm going to do business with you guys.
Yeah.
You know, people just want to now do business with us, right?
It is. It's powerful. And people are, man, they're going to go and they're going to Google you. And if they see, you know, hey, I got this guy hitting me up and I got this guy hitting me up as far as the, you know, the service I'm looking for, they Google both names. They see one guy, oh man, he's been mentioned in Forbes. Oh, he's written a book. He's an author. Oh, he's been on this talk show. Oh, he's got a podcast. Oh, he's got a big social media following. And then this guy over here, like, he's a great hustler, but I don't know anything about him. I can learn all this stuff about this guy over here, and I like this guy over here, so obviously I'm going to go with this guy over here. Burton talks about that. Like, guy literally still knocks doors, even though he's part owner of his company. Is it roofing? It's a roofing company,
roofing
right?
Company,
his roofing company. But the guy's out still crushing it, making 7 figures a year, just knocking doors, let alone he's the owner of his company. And he talked about how when he would knock on doors and people would get to know him, and then they'd go Google him, and then they'd find out he's been a part of all these books and these fitness shows, and he's a model and all these things, right? They're like, damn, I want to give that guy my business. Trust me, you guys. People get their door knocked on to buy roofs in Texas on the daily.
Time. Yeah.
So when this guy comes and knocks on their door and they do a little bit of research, and they're doing research on the other people who knocked on their door, they're choosing Burton 9 out of 10 times because that guy has something, he has a personal brand when they go look him up. And so the dude's literally getting more callbacks and getting more follow-up deals than anybody else in that game because of his personal brand. You know, and so that's just a prime example. But it doesn't have to be just a podcast. It doesn't have to be your personal brand website or just your social media. You want to be setting yourself up in all these areas, right? Like, you know, write your book, put it out there. You know, go pay to get some PR with some companies. Like, be consistent with it. Launch a podcast. You know, like, do all of it, not just one thing, right? Even locally, man. Like, still, people to this day get business because of billboards. They just keep seeing their face all over. It's just one piece of building your personal brand. And so I feel like there's a lot of buckets where you could get started. Okay, it's not going to be just one or the other. You know, like a lot of people are like, oh man, it's all about the email campaign. I got to build my list. Well, no one's going to open your damn email if they don't know who you are. You know, if Jay's sending you an email and I'm sending you an email and Jay doesn't have a podcast over here, but I've got a podcast and you've actually heard some of my episodes or you've seen my stuff on social media or whatever, you're gonna be like, oh, I want to open this email and see what they have to say.
Without a doubt. I mean, the first thing I do when anybody asks to be on the podcast, I Google them. I copy and paste the name in the email, and I Google them, and I see what PR or press is out there on them. And if I see that they have a LinkedIn profile, you know, that's like one of the ones that come up most often is, oh, they have a LinkedIn, and I click on it.
Cool, I can read your bio.
Yeah, exactly. That's about it. But you look like everybody else based upon your bio and your profile pic. You just look like another LinkedIn business guy, right? You don't have anything outside of that. And a lot of the times when I have companies reaching out to us that actually like people hire to get, you know, they hire companies to get them on podcasts so they don't have to sit there and email every single podcast themselves. Because they are trying to build their brand and they're trying to use other people's attention in order to build that brand, right?
Smart.
Which is a smart thing to do. But the first thing I do is I look that individual up and Google them. Now, in some cases, the resume that they send over looks very impressive. They've done this, and sold this many companies and this, that, the other.
Yeah. But what value does that bring each other.
Yeah,
it can't just be one-way street, right? It's gotta be like how
we're
are you
not building a following just to help you grow yours, right? Like we're building a following, one, to add value to people's lives, and we know how powerful personal branding is in terms of our companies. And so if you're not going to bring us any value, then we're probably going to pass, right? But if you have 50,000 followers or 100,000 followers, I'm like, okay, well, if we get this person on the podcast and they post a few clips about the podcast, then we're pulling attention from their ecosystem over to our ecosystem and vice versa. We're bringing value to each other.
And it also just shows that you're willing to do more than the average person, right? Like that's respectable amongst people that actually are truly like hustlers and like and have they've built something, right? Like
well, how many people in like the Arate group that have built something that are making really good money reach out to us and say, I fucking love your guys' content.
Yeah.
Like your guys' content is fire, right? And so we're now even attracting these high power players that have accomplished a lot in their life, but maybe they just don't have a following like we have a following. And it's even impressive to the individuals that have accomplished a lot.
Yeah.
And so when I Google somebody and there is a lot of information about that individual, I'm like, okay, well, this individual might be a good fit for the podcast because they've accomplished a lot and they're also spending time and money on their personal brand. They're taking that seriously. If they're not taking that serious, to me, it's like, are you really a forward thinker? Yes, you've accomplished a lot in the past, but what are you doing right now?
Yeah.
You're now just relying on other people and their personal brands to try to grow yours, which is great. But if you grow yours, just as I barely said, you're more likely to be able to work with people of influence and kind of coexist and share attention, swap that attention, right? And so that's one of our goals this year is to travel a little bit more, be on more people's podcasts, as well as get more people that have a larger following on our podcast so that we can help kind of grow the community, right? Grow the page, grow the podcast. At this point, we've mainly just been focused on our personal brand rather than going out and piggybacking off of other people's personal brands, right? Yeah. And now that we have a good personal brand, we are in that situation where we could reach out to people and say, hey, we'll bring you on our podcast. It's the top 3% business podcast in the world. So we know we can bring value to you, and then we can hop on your podcast and we can kind of swap attention in that case. And that individual,
it doesn't even have to be 100% equal. I mean,
it doesn't.
Somebody might have 300,000 followers and they're a little bit higher up, but they're like, dude, you still have 100. Like, it doesn't have to be 100% equal, but it's got to be enough to where it's still value back to them.
Yeah,
like,
of course.
You don't bring value to them if you've only got a couple thousand people that are mainly your friends and family and people just around your community, So I would say it would probably be cool to give some ideas on things people could do to just get started, right?
So, again, the goal is over the next 3 to 5 years, because I honestly think within 5 years,
you got to be in it for the long game.
Yes, I think in 5 years, I don't think brands like company brands are going to be as valuable as individual brands and being able to again influence people. A brand can't influence people as much as an individual, I think, anymore. Again, back in the day, I think that they could. I think it's just now people want to have some sort of human connection, right? Not a logo connection, right? Yeah. Nike's grandfathered into that, right? Yeah. Coca-Cola's grandfathered into that.
Yeah, it depends on your niche too.
They already have enough attention. Everybody knows who they are. That's a real brand, right? But in this day and age, do I think, there's going to be a Nike that started in 2021 and there's not going to be a name behind it? No. Even Nike understands the power of personal branding because they hire athletes and their personal brand, and they pull them into the ecosystem. Oh, a lot of people like LeBron James. Okay, let's sign him and create a shoe for him, right? So they're piggybacking off of all these other people's attention to stay relevant.
Plus, he is still building his own personal brand too. Correct. I mean, he wrote The Shoe Dog or whatever. I haven't read that book, but I've heard it's amazing. Yeah. Right? So,
but again, I would start with Instagram or Facebook. Yeah. Right. It's kind of the least path of resistance because you can boost, any posts. Right. You have to have be a business page. So even if it's your own personal name, you convert it to a business page because without that, you can't boost a post. In other words, there's a blue button that says boost, and it asks you what you want to do with that post. Do you want to send people to a website? Do you want to send them to your profile? Or do you want to send them to your direct messages? And we always say send them to our profile because we want them to check out the profile and then choose whether they want to follow us, right? So I call it kind of like paid organics to a certain extent. We're paying for the attention, but they organically choose whether or not they want to follow us for a long period of time, right?
I do talk to a lot of guys that get stuck on this. They're like, well, it's better if it's organic. Like, trust me. Like, I love that you call it paid organic because, like, trust me, you just want to get eyeballs on you. Yeah. And nowadays with all the algorithms and the shadow banning and all this weird stuff, right? Like, you're just not visible, so you need to become visible. And
well, the ad creates visibility, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, so buy the eyeballs, right? Yeah. Be willing to suck. You know, when you're getting overwhelming hate, like, dude, this video sucked, 80%, then okay, cool. Just be willing to take that on the chin and grow. But when you're getting like 10% hate, like, oh, dude, and other people are saying, dude, I love this video. I took some nuggets away from this or whatever, right? Like, okay, then that means you're finding some groove, some momentum. Like you're getting some more love than hate, and so you got to ignore the 10% now and just keep doing what you're doing and what works.
With attention, you're going to get hate.
You're going to get it no matter what.
You'll get it. I mean, anybody that has any attention, we just talked about LeBron James. Yeah. There's probably a lot of people that hate him. A lot of people like President of the United States. A lot of people like him. A lot of people hate him. Yeah. It doesn't matter who you are. When you have mass amounts of attention, you're going to have people that hate you. That's just the truth. Definitely. And what Kel's saying here in terms of ignore the hate, as you're growing and building the following by boosting your posts and getting more attention, that's when the hate happens. But let's say, for instance, you have 100,000 followers or 200,000 followers and you stop boosting your posts, and now you're going to want to monetize on that audience, so to speak, by creating different offers or whatever it is, right? Talking about what it is that you do and what you can offer them. At that point, you're not going to have as much hate because you now have 100,000 or 200,000 people that chose to click a button that says follow. That's why I say it's kind of organic. Yes, you pay for their attention, but they choose whether they follow the account or not. They organically make that decision themselves. You just pay for the attention to get it in front of a large amount of people. Right? And then, again...
I mean, don't ignore the hate when you're getting going. Like, be open to where you can improve. Yeah. But when it's like, the right people are going to stick around, right? The bottom line is the right people are going to stick around, and as long as you're consistent, you're going to build loyalty in those people. You're always going to have that little bit of hate that you can't ignore. But in the beginning, when you're getting a lot of, I wouldn't even want to call it hate, but at least criticism. I mean, don't ignore it. Like, be open to where you can improve. Yeah. Have enough humility to be like, okay, I could do better here, and I know I could do better there, and actually execute on that. Like, practice, right? Yeah. Like, what you got to understand is this is practice in the beginning stages.
Yes, absolutely.
And it's valuable. It's just like jumping on a stage. Like, people are deathly afraid of it, but be willing to suck and bomb. You'd be surprised how many times I've gone on stage and bombed. Still not good at it, but every time I get swarmed with people. Hey man, can I ask you some more questions about taxes, LLCs, S corps? Like, how can I connect with you guys? Like, and before we even had our brand, people didn't know anything about us. Just being willing to get in front of a bunch of eyeballs, talk about what your craft is, what you're good at, what value you bring to this audience. People are gonna come and want to connect with you because you were willing to get up there and do that. You became an authority on stage that day.
Absolutely, you did.
And even if you felt like you bombed, people are probably going to be like, dude, I love what you said here and there, and I know I need this here, and people are going to want to swarm you. It happens all the time.
And at the same time, mentally we could think that we bombed, but it's almost like looking at a group photo. Your eyes immediately go to you, and you're like, oh my God, my eyes are squinty. Or this, that you over-critique yourself, right?
Well, I had one lady come to me after a presentation in California. She said, I actually love your talk. I learn from you.
Yeah.
And I was like, cool. She's like, but you need to slow down. You talk too fast. I'm like, cool. I'm so open to that because I'm new at it. I'm still new at it.
Yeah.
You know, this last year sucked with
listen,
Corona not
lady,
being able to get
I was
on stages.
purposely running through it fast, okay? I was a little nervous up there, so we'll slow it down over the course of time.
You're going to survive. And that's what I would tell myself. We're going to say, like, dude, I'm going to live, okay? I am nervous. My heart's pounding out of my chest. I'm not going to have a heart attack, though, okay? But man, I was really open to hiring a speaking coach last year before the coronavirus hit. I was like, man, who should I hire? Like, I was 100% like, I'm going to hire somebody. I probably still should have, but this year I will.
Well, you're investing.
This year I will,
you're investing in what you want to get better at.
I know things are going to open up. I know there's going to be. We already have opportunities to go get on stage. I want to deliver a message where 90% of that audience is going to really hear the message, and I'm delivering in a way that brings value to them, which is going to bring value back to me.
Because in a lot of cases, you have the most beautiful thing in your mind. And then when you open your mouth, it just don't sound as beautiful as what it felt like in the mind.
Still to this day.
The words just don't come out like they do in your mind.
The second a video comes on.
Yeah, when it's like action. Even when we record like ads or whatever, and it's like, oh, we know what we're going to say. Yeah. Then when the lights and the cameras and everything's on, it's like, you start talking and your tongue doesn't move right.
I feel like I'm the king of that, dude. I'm always like, damn, Trevor delivered that so well. But every time I think of the greatest shit and then it just doesn't come out right. And like, I still think that, you know, we suck a lot. Right? We got a lot of room to grow.
Yeah, I mean, on the podcast, it's a little bit easier because, you know, we're security blankets to each other because I'm just talking to Kel, right? But when we're not really talking to each other and we're talking at the camera and we got different shit to say, it's like, then you really start getting jumbled a little bit. But look, we've got a lot better over the last 2 years just doing it, getting our reps in. That's really what it comes down to. You just got to get your reps. And so turn the camera on you, and it's very, very uncomfortable. We've asked people to record just testimonials about them working with us, and that is something that's almost like stepping on stage for them. It's very scary to flip the camera and have them see themselves and try to talk, even just on a 30-second or 60-second testimonial. Hey, I hired Easier Accounting, love what they're doing. They've been amazing for me. Their communication is great. You know, whatever it is. I even reached out to one of our clients that we've absolutely crushed it with, and he credits a lot of his business's success to us. What's up, Rob? You know, in terms of the support that we've given him through his startup phase over the last few years, and he just barely sold his business. And he's getting 7 figures for selling that business. And so we asked him to record a testimonial. He's an absolute stud. Yeah. You know, he's taking control of his life, and he built something. You know, and it took, you know, 3 years or so to build in order to exit that company. But he was growing at a good rate that other competitors saw him growing at a good rate and knew that he would take a large portion of the market share if they didn't hurry and buy him out while he was still growing, right? And so he put a little fear in the competition's eyes where they're like, we need to buy this guy out. We need to get rid of him as competition. And that's ultimately what happened. But even just asking him to do that, it was something that was very uncomfortable to him. And he says, sorry, man, I'll get it to you next week. And he just kept kind of pushing it off because it was kind of something that was new and different, which is ultimately scary when it's new and different.
Here's the biggest thing, dude. Fear of criticism from others is one of the strongest fears in our entire society, dude. You go read Think and Grow Rich. You go read How to Win Friends and Influence People. You go read Outwitting the Devil. All those books say this is one of the strongest fears in trying to grow a business. Yeah. Well, your personal brand is your business. Yeah. But you've got to understand something. Everybody has this at some level or not. So everybody's already afraid of what everyone else thinks of them anyway. So you just need to be willing to put yourself out there and just take it on the chin with this fear of criticism.
The real question is do you care more about your financial future or more about a little bit of criticism?
Right. Because they're already criticizing themselves, man. Yeah. Trust me, they're criticizing themselves more than they're going to criticize you. If you do get up and bomb on stage, or you do bomb on a video or whatever, they ain't thinking about it the next day or even the next minute because they're already focused on their own criticism fear.
Or criticizing the next person. Right, exactly. It's always the people that give 1-star reviews. Dude. You look at their past reviews, they're always 1 stars. They're never people that actually give credit to somebody when they do a good job. They only critique when they feel like that they can improve, right?
Yeah. That's why you need to just be willing to suck for a while.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's true.
Because they're not going to remember you, dude. they're busy, critiquing themselves.
Our first probably 6 months of videos, were, we thought were pretty BA, bro, pretty badass. But looking back at them now, they weren't.
No.
They weren't up to the quality that we have now, and that's just a couple years of evolution, right? And now we have a personal brand, and now we're able to flex that personal brand and earn other business, right? We have people even in masterminds come up to us, oh my gosh, I love what you guys are doing. Love your guys' podcast. It's so real. It's so great. We appreciate all that feedback. But then we're like, hey, what is it that you do again? Da, 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 da. And then we find out that they sell, some sort of business opportunity. We're like, hey, why don't you refer your clients over to us? If you're helping them get a business going, send them over to us and we'll do the accounting. Oh, I love that idea.
Yeah.
Because they already know us and like us and trust us from the podcast. We're already grandfathered in.
Yeah.
We're the first choice automatically at that point. And even if we inject an idea or a thought towards that individual, it's going to be accepted at a greater percentage than if we were a nobody, so to speak, social media wise, and we had an idea. Then they'd be like, let me think about that. But if you've brought a lot of value and made a lot of solid points and you're a forward thinker and they know that, they're like, maybe I should do that if these guys are recommending that. Like, hey, we can bring value to your clients. And you end up being the hero because you were the referral.
Right.
You're helping them on the front end and on the back end. And everybody has the ability to win. And it makes those doors easier to open based upon the fact that we have a personal brand.
Which is a great probably thing to talk about is your reputation now. I mean, you're going to spend a lot of money building your personal brand. And you're going to waste a lot of money figuring it out. But then you're just going to keep doing that if you don't back up your shit. You know, like you have to have reputation. The reason we've built some great companies before we even had our personal brand is because, oh man, they always pay on time. Oh man, they always service my clients well. Dude, they always report on time. Like in our industry, when we were coming up in the pools that we're playing in business, like a lot of people were pretty inconsistent with payments and they couldn't pay and they're robbing Peter to pay Paul and they couldn't get their shit in order because they're living to the max or they're just not backing their shit up, right? And so if you guys take this journey of like, dude, I need to build my personal brand, they're right. That is the shortcut to building my network. You're still never going to succeed if you don't back your shit up.
Yeah,
you've got to simultaneously build your reputation with your brand.
Without a doubt. Your personal brand is going to be dependent on how well you follow through with the things that you do, right? Because once people start doing business with you, they're going to find out whether you do good business or bad business, even if you give good advice.
Right.
So you actually, when you get to the point of personal branding, as well as your company, right? Like we're branding Easier Accounting and Real Business Owners at the exact same time, and they ultimately serve each other, right? But at the end of the day, what's going to happen is your awareness is going to be heightened in terms of customer experience because now you're like, well, I don't want my personal brand to get hurt. Like this is coming. They know us, like us, and trust us. Like I want to take really good care of that individual because they trusted us to do business with Easier Accounting, right? And so it's no longer just Easier Accounting's name on the line, which we take pride in, and we want to make sure that that has a good name and a good reputation and great reviews and all that. But at the same time, that also is a reflection of us. So now we have two different entities almost to worry about, our personal brand and our company's brand, right? And so your awareness is heightened a little bit in terms of customer experience and making sure fulfillment is really, really good. And it's going to force you to continue to make your company better and better and better, right? And that's all we do. Whenever we have meetings, it's like, hey, what can we add? What can we do here? We're trying to figure out ways to get better instead of just saying, okay, we're doing pretty well. Let's just keep doing what we're doing and just ride off into the sunset over the next, 5 or 10 years or whatever it is. We take a lot of pride in just trying to get a little bit better each year. Whether it's adding a new CRM and spending money on a new CRM so that we can create better systems and processes that the system does for us so that we make sure that, again, we're honoring the customer and we're taking really good care of them so that we can honor our personal brand as well, right?
Dude, we've made mistakes. People have slipped through the cracks. We've always take those learning experiences because we're like, dude, we want to get better, right?
Nobody's perfect. Nobody, I don't expect your business to be perfect or anything. There will be issues, but also how do you handle your issues? Do you handle it at a level of excellence? Do you really go above and beyond and take care of an individual? If they're happy, that's amazing. Ask them for a testimonial or referrals or whatever it may be. But if they're not happy, you need to make sure that you address that head on and take some ownership and say, what could we have done better? And what do you think is the best resolution? Don't tell them what the resolution, ask them what the best resolution would be.
Right.
And then find some middle ground there, or just refund the whole thing, or whatever you've got to do, because your personal brand and your company brand is far more important than a couple $1,000.
We've had to do it over the years quite a bit, man. Yeah. We've had to be like, damn, we did mess up there, and had to hey, here's a full refund, and we're still going to finish the service for you. Like, we feel so bad. We're grateful for the learning opportunity. Let us help make it right.
Yeah, in the first 5 years,
people are going to respect that.
The first 5 years, you're going to learn a lot. Yeah. You're going to figure out where the holes in your business are and where people fall through the cracks, and then you're going to create systems and processes that ultimately make sure that doesn't happen. Yeah. That's pretty much the first 3 to 5 years of any business, is figuring out a way to make sure that consistency is there for every individual that you bring on board.
Dude, that brings up a good question. So do you think that people should start building their personal brand immediately, or do you think that they should actually really kind of dial in their systems, processes, and can back some shit up first? Or do you think they should do it simultaneously with just that heightened awareness of making sure that they're going to do whatever it takes?
I think that they should do it simultaneously, and the only reason why I state that is because it's going to take a year or two anyways to build a personal brand. Yeah. You're in the first 6 or 12 months, you're not going to get a ton of customers building a personal brand. You just won't. It takes time, right? So but building a personal brand doesn't really take that much time, because recording a video, every single day, or creating a quote or whatever it is, that shouldn't take more than a couple minutes of your time every day if you just turn the camera on yourself and deliver a message and post it, and then you boost it. Because then at that point, the algorithm of Facebook and Instagram will put it in front of people's eyeballs, and then they'll choose whether or not they want to follow you. So it's just a matter of posting and just staying on top of it.
I think so too. So I think as long as you're honest too. Because let's say I've been flipping homes. I'm in my first year doing it. Well, everyone can flip homes and make money in a damn market like this, right? You know what I mean? So I think you got to be kind of honest in your journey. Like, hey, I'm new at this. I'm going to be documenting this. I'm going to show you what I'm learning along the way. Yeah. But if you try and come out and build your personal brand as, I'm an expert because I've made all this money flipping real estate in the easiest market to flip real estate in, right? Versus a guy that's actually gone through some winter markets, some bear markets, and survived. That guy's going to be able to bring a lot more value, right? But a lot of people might appreciate your brand if you're honest with them on that journey, right? Just for an example, I'd rather go learn from Cody, who's actually been building real estate through ups and down markets, versus a guy that's just starting out. I'd rather learn from that guy. Yeah. Versus this guy, if he's trying to pretend he's something that he's really not. Yeah. He's not an expert. Yeah. But I might actually want to watch that guy if he's honest and be like, dude, I'm documenting my success and my failures,
everything.
I'm pretty new, but I'm winning right now, and I'm going to be posting stuff for you
That's
guys.
a good point. Don't act like an authority when you're not yet an authority. Yeah. Right? You can
still produce content, but
you can produce content. Yeah. But don't try to be the authority when you're on day one of producing content, especially while you're still trying to build a business and you don't really make a whole lot of money. Yeah. Then you do look fake and you do look silly, right? We did build our businesses first, and we were already making good money prior to building a personal brand. Right. But I wish we would have been doing it since 2010 or 12. Yeah, could you imagine where we would be financially and business-wise if we would have been building that brand over the course of the last 10 years rather than the last 2 years? Stuman's done a great job of being consistent on social media.
Yeah, and he's now, 11, 12 years in.
He's 11 to 12 years in, and now he spends $0. He spends nothing on marketing, and his companies are growing rapidly.
Right. Well, his cost is in his team. It's not necessarily in his equipment. It's not in paid ads. He doesn't need to do paid ads anymore.
He doesn't have to. Right. But again, let's say he was going after the immediate customer the entire time over the last 10 years, he'd still be spending money today to get the immediate customer. Right. Right? Rather than let's give good content, let's play the long game, let's ultimately just give value, right, over the course of a long period of time, grow a large enough following to where now he's monetizing it in multiple different areas, right? And people want to be in his ecosystem based upon the fact that they see other people want to be in his ecosystem. So there's far more followers than there are leaders, right? And when people see that you have a large amount of people following you, it makes them want to follow as well, because they're going to say, well, there's the social proof. Right. This person's obviously delivering some value, and 90,000 people think so. So if it's good enough for them, it's going to be good enough for me. I'll check them out and see what they're about. Now, when you're first building your personal brand, it's a little bit more difficult, because if you only have 500 followers and you start boosting posts, you don't have the social proof. So it might be a little bit more expensive at first to get a follower, because you're giving content and they're like, well, this person only has 500 followers. Who the hell does he think he is? We went through the exact same period, right? Of people talking shit when you're first building it, right? But once you get 5,000 or 10,000 followers, you're starting to now get a little bit more social proof. So when you are spending money and boosting your posts and things like that, and getting people to come over to your page to check you out, there's a little more social proof, and they're more likely to follow you at that point. So as you grow a following, it can start getting cheaper to grow a following, because the social proof is already there. People want to see what other people are doing, and they're just followers. They just want to follow what everybody else is doing. And so just be aware of that when you're going through that process. But I would suggest to allocate a budget. I don't know what everybody's budget is going to be different. That would be one of the first steps, right? And saying, let's take a look at this. I spend $5,000 a month in marketing. Maybe let's spend $4,000 in marketing, and I'll spend $1,000 a month on my personal brand. Or I'll do 50-50, so that I can still get some right now business, but I'm also building my long-term play out as well. Right. And if you're not focused on any personal branding, and you're not boosting your posts, and you're not putting out content, then you're basically not putting yourself in a position to be successful in the next 3 to 5 years in the whole social media market. Secondly, there's a new social media platform that's available called Clubhouse. A lot of people are talking shit on Clubhouse. There's only 1 million users in Clubhouse, and it's growing rapidly. Right. You have
to have an iPhone to be on it.
You have to have an iPhone. They're working on Android right now. I was in a room with the actual people that developed it, and they were talking about some of the things that they would like to do. But right now, there's a lot of people that are very successful that you can't normally touch in direct messages, or you reach out to via email or text or get a phone call with. But these individuals are spending time on Clubhouse answering questions, right? They call somebody up to the stage, and there's, a group of experts, 5, 10, all the way up to 50 experts in some rooms, but there's 1,000 people in the room. And somebody might sell on Amazon and have a question about Amazon. Out of the 10 experts that are on the panel, one might have e-com experience, and that person answers the question, right? And so the expert that's, in the field of the individual that's asking the question usually responds to the question, and you're getting free coaching and mentoring. Not only that, when you're listening to other people's questions, they're going to have questions that you wouldn't even have. And then you're like, oh, wow, that's a great question. I can't wait to hear this answer. I'm on it, and I still hear some answers, and I'm like, damn, that was a good answer. Very impressive, right? And we've done some impressive shit, and I still get impressed.
That's the reason Clubhouse sucked me in. I was like, damn, dude, I love the different, perspectives and opinions.
On success and business and, all that. And so I just think because it's new, people are standing back a little bit and saying, well, let's just see if this thing grows legs. Let's see if it's really going to be something. Let's just be real for a second. Voice communicating has been around since the dawn of human beings. That was the first form of communication ever, was voice, right? We would talk to each other, right? And now these days we email each other, we text each other. There's all these social media. We DM each other.
How big was the radio when it first came out?
Dude,
not everybody was jumping in and putting ads out there yet.
So I honestly think it's going to continue to grow, because you're getting human-to-human contact and connection in real time, rather than somebody posting a video and then you comment. That's not real time, and you're not really getting that human element where I'm talking to you or Kel's talking to you, right? We're just commenting back and forth, and there's still a little bit of a barrier. But if you have a specific question, you're getting an answer immediately. You're not necessarily waiting, for somebody to go back in their DMs and reply to you a day later or whatever it is. And so when you're talking about building a personal brand, you also have to talk about being at the forefront of new things. Let's say it doesn't go anywhere. What would it hurt to have a profile and spend a little bit of time over there?
Especially when you get value from it.
We've already pulled business out of Clubhouse, and it's very, very, very new, right? The guests that we're actually going to be interviewing tomorrow, today's Friday, tomorrow's Saturday. This will come out, whatever, on a Tuesday, but in the next week or two. But we found him on Clubhouse. We reached out to him. We chatted with him and said, hey, we'd love to have you on the podcast.
Right.
And he's flying here to come be on the podcast, right? And there's been some other conversations and connections that have been made in some of those rooms in Clubhouse that are ultimately going to serve us, right? So even if you don't grow a large following, there's still business that's being done on Clubhouse. And you're able to connect with some pretty high power players in some cases. There's a lot of jokers on there too that want to start rooms. But guess what? There's a lot of jokers on Instagram. There's a lot of jokers on Facebook. There's a lot of jokers on TikTok.
And there's a lot of people that have wish they wouldn't have waited so long to get in the game.
Yeah.
And
imagine if you were one of the first million people on Instagram.
Right.
You would probably have 1 million followers right now because you would have been able to game it using all the hashtags and all this stuff. When you used to be able to do hashtags and get a ton of followers from it, now you can't really do it because it's too noisy. Everybody's using hashtags, and there's hundreds and millions, if not billions, of people now using Instagram. Right. So, but if you were one of the first million, you'd probably have a good personal brand right now.
And Clubhouse is a good way to build your Instagram, dude. I mean, the end of the day, you link your Instagram and your Twitter to it. You write a nice little bio, okay? But there's a lot of lurkers in Clubhouse, too. They're just kind of hanging in the audience. Like, actually raise your hand, come up on stage with those dudes that are giving their time, because they're looking for something, too. Otherwise, they wouldn't be on the app. Grant Cardone's on there because he's, like, promoting his, undercover millionaire or his investing company or whatever, right? Undercover billionaire. And so at the end of the day, like, I've seen a lot of people raise their hand, go up and talk, and specifically ask Grant a question. He can just click on your profile right there and click on your Instagram and see if you bring any value to him, and then he can say, dude, let's connect more. DM me. I want to be on your podcast. Or I want to be on your show. Or I want to, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of people that you feel like are out of your reach that really aren't, that are actually on Clubhouse. They're looking for something too. So raise your hand, ask a great question, collab with them for a second. If they click on your Instagram, see you can bring them value, like, game over, dude. Now you can actually book something with him. I literally heard Grant say, hey, dude, I'm going to DM you and actually tell you how to get in touch with my assistant so we can book something. And I was like, oh, damn, good for that person, dude. But you can't do that if you don't raise your hand and go up on the damn stage.
And you're not going to do that on Instagram. You can send them a DM and say, hey, I'd like to connect with you.
And it's just going in the message request.
It's just sitting there.
Exactly.
Right? You can comment on a post. It's just going to sit there. And so, this isn't necessarily a podcast about highlighting Clubhouse, but this is a podcast about highlighting personal brands and how important it is. And if that can enhance your Instagram brand or your Facebook brand or your personal brand in general, then you should be dabbling in it. You should be doing something, right? We've got a couple friends. There's Tony Watley that's been on the podcast and Zach Babcock that's been on this podcast.
They're booking huge guests now.
They're getting a lot of guests. And, they've
new guests.
Guests with just more attention, right? But these individuals have been on it religiously for like the last 3 or 4 weeks. They already have 12 or 13,000 followers on Clubhouse now. So if they create a room and they go live in the room for a Q&A or whatever it is, or even to talk about their business, they have a large audience to communicate with. And they're growing their personal brands through Clubhouse because they're spending a lot of time on there. With anything that you're investing in, you got to spend time or money. Clubhouse right now is just specific time. It's specifically, just your time. There's no way to boost anything or pay to grow followers or anything like that, right? On Instagram and Facebook, you can pay to grow your following and not necessarily have to spend the time. But you should be kind of doing a little bit of both. If you're paying money over here, your time is money, right? And so if you're investing your time over here on Clubhouse, you can get some attention, and your profile is at the bottom. They click on it. We've watched our followers go up anytime that we answer questions. You'll get 10 new followers or 15 new followers just based upon that Clubhouse app. And so the reason why we're talking about it is because when you're building a personal brand, you also have to be looking at any new social media platforms or apps that are coming out that may end up being one of the premier apps in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. But you want to be one of the pioneers of that app, right? Or utilizing that to your advantage in the early stages so that you're kind of getting ahead of the game, right? If somebody downloads it in 3 years, they're already behind, and it's going to take a lot longer to grow a 20,000 following for that individual than it would for you right now getting into Clubhouse and utilizing it to your advantage and becoming an authority in Clubhouse, right?
I think it's smart, man. I love the whole concept of Clubhouse because you have to raise your damn hand to grow. And it's like that a lot in life, you know? You got to raise your damn hand.
And speak up.
You got to share your damn story.
Yep.
Like Zach Babcock, bro. He doesn't have that big of an Instagram following. I think he's 10 or 11,000 followers, and he's done it all organically, nothing paid. So that's badass, right? Especially with how competitive Instagram is. His Clubhouse.
He paid.
Somebody told me.
He paid, and somebody said he said that somebody gave him a bunch of bunk followers, and so he tried to get rid of them, and then he started doing what we were telling him to do, and he's been able to grow it because he had like
recently
he had like 9,000 or 10,000 followers, but he paid somebody to do something, and his engagement went way down, and it almost destroyed his Instagram. But he tried to hurry and get rid of a bunch of these whatever fake bot followers or whatever.
Out there.
I wouldn't necessarily pay an individual to grow your Instagram. Just to be quite honest with you, I would boost the posts yourself to grow your Instagram. Well, so there is a definite way to do it. But he did exactly what we're talking about right now in terms of boosting, and his following has now started to grow again.
Well, his Clubhouse following is bigger than his Instagram following.
In 3 weeks.
Yeah. And the reason is because he is like getting well known in there. His story is very compelling. Bigger influencers saying, dude, I want you on my show. I love your story. And then other people are like, dude, I want to follow you. So the whole concept of Clubhouse is so powerful because you're having to raise your damn hand and share your story to get anywhere. And that's really how it is in life, man. Like when you're in the crowd, you need to raise your damn hand to get known. You need to share your story with people. And it's very powerful. I was
in a room with Zach, and he had told his story, and the room was like 900 people or whatever.
Yeah.
And there was another guy on the panel that was like a film producer or this or that or whatever. And he goes, hey, Zach, I want to connect with you. I love your story, and I want to do whatever I can to help you.
You have to speak up to open doors, man.
And so some big player heard his story and says, I want to connect with you. I want to figure out a way to get your story out there a little bit more, and who knows what could happen from that. I'll put money on it right now that Tony and Zach, they're gonna grow their personal brands and be very, very big at building their personal brand off of the back of Clubhouse. Right. I will guarantee that.
Yeah.
Over the next 2 or 3 years, they've done a good job of already doing that a little bit, and because they understand the value of it.
Right.
But I think that they found the platform that's going to blow it out of the water for them. Right?
We will as well, dude. I think we should start our own Real Business Owners room and club and get it approved.
Yeah,
and so we can drop some time in there every day.
Then we can connect with everybody that we're talking to right now that's hearing us talk about Clubhouse, and we can connect with them, and that's going to help us build our personal brand as well. We pull you guys up on stage. You can ask us questions in real time.
Yeah, it brings
and
you
we
value.
Can help. Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Everybody has the ability to win.
And why not 3 to 5 days a week? Just get in there and do it, right?
Yeah.
Spend a little time doing it, and structure it out into our schedules. But at the end of the day, man, like, actually, I didn't know that you could actually create like your own ongoing like room, like your own club, right? I didn't know that until just recently. Yeah. So we probably ought to go.
It's join the club or whatever,
down.
Right?
Yeah.
Like last night, I was talking to Dwight Gooden, a Hall of Fame pitcher in Major League Baseball. Right. He's won multiple World Series, right? I think he won 1 with the Mets and 2 with the Yankees. Yeah. But, I was up on stage with him and was able to ask him a question, right? Yeah. I said, like, dude, you've been around a lot of high-powered athletes, and they're all great at what they do in terms of being able to play baseball, or else they would never make it to the major leagues. But what's really the separator from the average baseball player and the greats? Mm-hmm. Because everybody's good when you get to that level, but what is the thing that makes, how do you go from good to great?
Yeah.
What's the denominator? And to be able to hear him talk about, what the separator was between good and great in the major leagues, to hear him talk about him pitching a no-hitter before when his dad was in the hospital dying, but he had played baseball with his dad since he was 7 years old.
Yeah.
And he felt like that his dad would want him to be out there playing the game.
Right.
And he ended up pitching a no-hitter that time, which is a big deal in baseball, right? And so to hear this guy's story, some of the struggles that he had to go through, to hear some of the things that the greats do to separate themselves from just being a good or average player in the pros. I mean, you can't get that anywhere else. Mm-hmm. I can't get that anywhere else. I can't be talking to a Hall of Fame baseball player besides on Clubhouse.
Right.
You know, and having a real conversation in the moment.
And people are actually coming there to do that. It's not like you're trying to just do a Zoom room.
Yeah.
You know, you're like sending a bunch of emails out or calling people, hey, get in my Zoom room at this time. Like, Zoom's powerful. It's cool. Put together those virtual, you know, groups. But dude, like, or there's already so many people popping up on Clubhouse just looking for the right room to like get in. And so, you know, get in the mix.
Again, if you're trying to build a personal brand, get in on anything that you can on the ground floor and see if you can become an authority on that app.
Yeah.
You know, over the course of the next 2 to 3 years, right? Because maybe that's the app that'll blow up over the next 5 years, because people are getting sick of Instagram and Facebook, the facts checking, the this, the that, the bias stuff, whatever, right?
Right.
And so they're looking for other mediums to get their voice out there and to share the knowledge that they have, or individuals seeking a platform where they can just receive knowledge without having to freaking deal with commenting and liking posts and scrolling through this. They just get to be on there with their phone open, listening to conversations. Yeah. It's like a podcast in real time.
It is,
you know, and then you get to jump in on the podcast.
It's like
so
little
to speak.
mini masterminds.
It is without a doubt like a mastermind. Right. You know, a virtual mastermind.
And you can just pop in there and be like, man, like, I'm just starting. What would you, advise me to do? What's one of the what's one of the most uncommon things that you could share that really helps propel you in building your brand? Or, you ask some of these guys and gals these questions, like, they're going to be like, damn.
What platform should I focus on in 2021?
And you're going to get nuggets out of it.
Yeah, without a doubt. So, let's make sure that this is a year where we focus on us and we focus on building the personal brand. We focus on building a personal brand by giving other people value, enhancing their life, making their life better. That's how you build a strong personal brand. Right. Whether it's, again, the entertain, educate, or motivate. Those are the 3 ways that you're going to build a personal brand. Either you're an entertainer, you're funny, you make people smile or laugh or cringe, or whatever, but it's still entertaining. Or you're educating them on something that maybe they weren't aware of, right? Or you're motivating them. But if you can do all 3, I think real business owners, we deal, the motivation thing is there. We educate people, entertainment. I mean, we don't sit up here and tell jokes or anything, but I think sometimes we're funny.
Sometimes funny stuff comes out. Yeah,
sometimes.
Absolutely.
But so we kind of hit on the entertain thing a little bit.
You want to try to get the trifecta going, but like, look at like Jordan Peterson.
Yeah.
He's really not that entertaining.
But
he's so smart.
Brilliant. Yes.
Yeah, and
he's an educator.
He's such an educator. He's built a massive personal brand. Like, maybe people don't know who he is, but he's
Jordan
really
Peterson.
good.
If you don't know who he is, you should know who he is.
Like, I learned from him, even if he
Without
talks
a doubt.
above my vocab level. Like, I'm like, damn, this guy's good, right? But he's not entertaining, and he's not like,
He's very methodical and very well thought out, so he's a little drier. He's like a professor. But
so even if you're really good at just one aspect, like, you're going to be able to do something.
He's really, really good at the one aspect of educating people on how the mind works and how things should work, right? And he's done a great job at that. So again, when you're building personal brands, make sure that you're focused on the end consumer, the individual consuming. I think when people build personal brands, they're focusing on, I want to grow my business, and you're trying to take from the audience rather than give to the audience. Give them value. Make sure that they want to keep coming back and seeing your face. Make sure that they look forward to your posts, not like, okay, great, here's another post from Kel. He's going to offer your accounting services. Again, like, that won't feel good because it just feels like an ad every single time. You can't do that. You have to be genuine about the information that you're giving. Be authentic, like Kel said. If you're new, hey, I'm new to this. I'm documenting my journey, right? Be real. Talk about your problems or your issues or your successes.
These are great place to get started.
That's a great place to get started, but make sure that your focus is on the end user, not necessarily you. You will eventually be taken care of. It's the law of reciprocity. Is that right? Did I say that right? By giving so much, it eventually you'll receive, right? And that's kind of the law of reciprocity.
Reciprocity,
right. Again, we talked about big words, things going over our head.
Yeah, we just learned that one.
Yeah. Hey, we talked about being honest here. We're not the brightest bulbs. We've told you guys that like a million times already. But you know, if we can do it, so can you. So there's the hope in the message of today. So build your personal brand, and in 3 to 5 years, you'll thank us. You know, maybe send us a Christmas card or something.
Be consistent. Be willing to suck.
Yeah.
You know, you'll get better.
You'll get
keep
better.
going.
You'll get better.
We just still got a long way to go to. We're just doing it.
Oh yeah. We're it's always about just getting a little bit better every single day, and then, you know, over the course of time, like Stuman, I mean, he's way better now than he was 10 years ago, right? Yeah. His messages are a lot more concise and clear and to the point and very impactful, versus maybe being all over the place, jumping around like a sales guy 10 years ago, which is kind of what his mindset was. Yeah. Now his mindset's about giving great content and serving people, because he knows that if he does that, it'll come full circle. Yeah. So just kind of keep that top of mind when you guys start trying to build your personal brand. And it doesn't necessarily have to be under your personal name if you don't want it to be under your personal name. Clever Investor, created Clever Investor. Yeah, it's like one guy. It's Cody Spurbert, right? It's just one guy, right? Billy Jean is marketing. That's Billy Jean.
Real business owners,
right? I'm not doing it under Trevor Cowley. He's not doing it under Cal Goodman. We're going to kind of focus on that maybe just a little bit. But you know, Real Business Owners is obviously the authority and the brand that we really care about in terms of, you know, making sure that we're bringing value to those individuals that are giving us their, you know, time. Time is precious, right? And so we appreciate you guys, you know, sharing the day with us and giving us your time and letting us bend your ear a little bit. But the information's only good when it's applied. So, you know, start thinking about that. If you can come up with an alter ego or a clever name like a Clever Investor or whatever, then you can run with that. Make it cool, make it fun, make it entertaining, whatever you motivating, educating, right? And you'll do fine over the next, you know, 2, 3, 4 years. You'll be glad that you spent the time, the sweat equity, and the money to build a personal brand, because then at that point, you know, you can continue to onboard people and
you don't
have new clients
you don't
without
have to do it
spending
at a
money.
huge national scale either.
Yeah.
Dude. Like my wife follows some chick that just organizes closets, but she documents it and puts it out, and like she does all this, you know, stuff, and she's entertaining, and like my wife's like, oh, I want to hire her to come do all of our organizing. You know what I mean? But like, dude, she's got like 5,000 or 10,000 followers in Utah. Yeah. But my wife's like, I want to choose her, right? Yeah. So like, no matter what you guys are doing, you might just be like, I said not just, but you might have some very tight niche where 4, 5, 10,000 followers is like super valuable.
Especially if you're a one-man band and you're the only person doing it. Yeah. That's plenty of an audience to utilize. And again, my guess is that she's probably not on there like, hey, hire me to do this, hire me to do this, hire me to do this. No, she's just showing.
She's actually giving the playbook. Like in pantries, here's what I do. And
but
when
people don't want to do
layouts like this is how I do this, and this is how I solve that problem. And people are like, I just want to freaking hire you.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Exactly. Right. We've given tax tips before, and people don't want to implement them themselves. Yeah. They want to work with somebody that knows how to do it. They'd rather pay. They're like, okay, you sounded like you knew what you were talking about. You know, I like that. I want to hire you to do that. Yeah. Right. And so really that's what it comes down to. So
I know we're wrapping up. I just wanted to throw that out.
No, I like that.
Because it can be very powerful, even on a small scale, very tight niche. Maybe you're a freaking mechanic in your town. You can still build a massive personal brand in your town.
You can be the mechanic in your town and 100%. Separate yourself by saying, hey, here's how you do an oil change. Here's how you change a tire. Here's how you change your brakes. Here's how you do this. Oh, it's squeaky. Spray this stuff right here. The starter fluid on this if it's not turning on. There's many things a mechanic can do to really put themselves out there for sure, because there's always problems with cars and there's so many different ones. Tutorials would be a huge, huge deal. But I know I would go to that individual because I don't, even though they tell me and give me the playbook, I don't want to do it myself. Right. But I like the fact that he's willing to do it. Boom, you got my business. So you guys think about that, chew on that for a little bit. Don't chew on it too long. Make sure that you actually, you know, put a little pep in your step and implement it. So wish you guys nothing but the best. Continue kicking ass, and we'll see you next week.